All right, everybody. Black oxygen organics, 5G. This is going to be a fun video. Bear with me. I'm going to use a lot of terms, but I'm going to try to keep it as simple as possible as well. So, this is the first question, number one. Does black oxygen organics help with 5G? Simple answer, yeah, absolutely. So let's break it down. The problem with the 5G, it's an electrical radiation signal basically coming in. And so here's the biggest thing. In order for you to not be affected by this EMF signal coming in, your own signal has to be stronger than the one coming in. So that way your body can differentiate you versus other signal. The other problem too is this is a non-ionizing radiation. Basically this 5G comes, hits you, creates free radicals, for lack of a better way. It makes you rust, for lack of a better. This is the easiest way to put it. It oxidizes you so that you start rusting, and that's basically how this works, which lowers, levels of superoxide dismutase. It lowers levels of glutathione, which are basically your super powerful antioxidants. So it also will cause cell membrane depolarization as well through something called calcium voltage ion channels, which regulate basically osmotic diffusion gradients. What does that mean? It basically means when this signal comes in, there's little cell receptors which are called calcium voltage ion channels. And they basically control when the cell depolarizes and when it doesn't, also controlling the osmotic diffusion gradient, basically what can get in easily and what can get out easily, because our cells rely on a very, 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 very specific balance of minerals inside the cell and different ones outside the cell. So through osmotic diffusion, basically because of osmosis, it will cause different nutrients and minerals and everything to either move out of the cell or move into it, and your body will work with these different things in order to maintain homeostasis. This is the biggest word, is homeostasis. Staying at health. Think health, homeostasis. When the 5G radiation comes in, it basically starts causing these little gatekeepers, these calcium voltage ion channels. It starts causing them to go haywire. So the cell, depolarizes, or it'll start letting it'll leak things in, it'll leak things out, and then it can't keep the homeostasis because it's been getting the wrong signal, telling it what's supposed to be in, what's supposed to be out, what can come in, what's supposed to go out. So with the black oxygen, by having the proper electrolytes and essential minerals that are in there, this is going to give your cells a big safeguarded buffer that when this radiation comes in, your cell has its own strong electrical signal. Remember too, because the black oxygen organics is basically liquid rocket fuel for your mitochondria. So when your mitochondria are functioning properly, your cell voltages are really, 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 really high, but pure water can't conduct electricity. So you need to have the essential minerals there inside the cell to make sure that all this electricity that's being generated, remember, it's over 10 times higher than a lightning bolt. So we have to make sure that there's enough of the electrolytes there. Basically think of it as like the wires that, how you've got a power plant, a nuclear power plant is different than like a solar power plant. Solar power plant is like dysfunctioning mitochondria, it's not making a whole lot of energy. We have a nuclear power plant or a thermonuclear power plant, makes a whole bunch of energy, but both are useless unless you have the electrical lines, basically the power lines that can transmit the energy back and forth. That's essentially what the electrolytes do in your body, is they're the power lines that move the power from one place to another. So if you don't have the electrolytes, because you don't have the essential minerals, you can't generate the energy and you can't conduct the electricity around to maintain your strong electrical field that you're supposed to have to buffer off the 5G, which is kind of part of the entire plan, to make sure nobody has any sense of self. There's not only the emotional and psychological manipulation to remove the aspect of self, but also on a physical level, they want the body depleted of its own ability to keep its own, we'll call it an aura, if you want to call it that, but its own electromagnetic field that differentiates self from non-self. So the stronger your voltages are, the higher your voltages are, the higher your frequencies are, the better homeostasis you can maintain because you have the essential minerals that are in there. This is going to ward off any external radiation that's coming in trying to affect you, and the black oxygen also has the antioxidants in it that is going to help you clean up the damage from that radiation. So that the rust basically that starts happening, it's going to clean up the rust so that you don't rust from the inside out, or oxidize is what they call it. So they call these free radicals or a million different other things. So you have antioxidants to keep you from oxidizing. That's the point of it. So also, the black oxygen carries 60 times its own weight in nutrients, so that way you get way better nutrient uptake. So this is extremely important there for saying, because of what happens when this 5G signal hits you, your body can't take the nutrients in appropriately and take the waste out because it's getting a faulty signal that's telling it not what the body is supposed to be doing. It's telling it some other porn or whatever your neighbors are watching on that other nonsense. So it's called, also too, Joey will love this word, my friend Joey Phillips. If you haven't friended him, you friend him. It's clathrin-mediated endocytosis. Basically, this helps build the little cages that bring in the certain nutrients into the cell, because your body can't just bring nutrients in. There is a very specialized process that these things have to go through to where they're enveloped and brought through and then depackaged in the appropriate part of the cell. So it's not like these free nutrients are just floating around and they just like make their way to the cell. They are actively transported in most cases from outside the cell in through proper channels and then into the appropriate part of the cell before they're unpackaged and then can be used. Otherwise it'd be like people shipping stuff through UPS, which funny enough, there is a UPS system in the body, but it's the people shipping stuff through UPS and not putting it in any packages, and just marbles roll it around and nothing's put into packages. So the black oxygen organics also assist with the UPS system inside the body to make sure things are packaged more effectively, transported effectively, and get to the places they're supposed to go before they're unpacked. So we covered all these different things of keeping your cell voltages high enough, being able to transmit the electricity, being able to keep self versus non-self, active nutrient transport, and osmotic diffusion gradient to make sure that you have the proper homeostasis. We're covering all these bases. It is literally, those of you that are familiar with grounding, so you know you need to get grounded, you need to get center. This is literally grounding you from the inside out, because it is literally the earth versus standing barefoot, you know, to get on the ground and be grounded. You can eat it instead. This is what we're built from. Every one of our cells and our flesh prison that we had is made from this stuff. So these essential minerals, without them, we can't form our bone, our skin, our teeth, our nails, or anything. We need all of this stuff, and because we've destroyed our soil, we have none of this left. So your really, really great solution to sum this up and make it simple: can the black oxygen organics help ward off the damage of 5G radiation? Yes, it's a thing. Yes, the black oxygen can help. Is this like a cure-all for everything? No, I'm not going to say that that's what it is by any means. Is it going to help? Oh yeah, it's going to probably help a lot. So it's the simplest answers that I can give us without turning this into like a 6-hour-long conversation. So your average person can go, okay, that makes sense. It creates my own electrical field that wards off the incoming radiation from something else. Okay, that's not too difficult. Okay, I can also generate more power and move it around in the body so that way outside interference and outside signals aren't interfering with my internal ones. Neat. Okay, and I can absorb nutrients better because it packages them up, moves them faster, and then also delivers them to where they need to go before being unpacked. Awesome. That's simple. That's the easiest way to explain this. So you get into, oh, I gotta bring Joey Phillips on. I love that man. So we'll talk to that. We'll get to this later. And thank you guys for tuning in. Let's keep this short. Talk to you soon.